Tomlin's year to year? Is that what's happening right now? We don't have any insight as to what happens contractually. Are he and the Steelers on a year to year basis right now? And who's doing is that happening that you're willing to share here, Tom?
My belief is Mike Tomlin will be the head coach of the Steelers for as long as he wants to be, but he's entering his 19th year. There is not a lot of precedent in the modern NFL, Bill Belichick aside, for somebody going on 20 years with one team. It just doesn't happen. And there's a variety of reasons for that. Mike Tomlin, we all know, has never had a losing season in Pittsburgh. He has a lot of influence over all aspects of the organization, personnel. Look no further than Aaron Rodgers, who Mike Tomlin stumped for from the start, basically from the moment that they knew that they weren't going to be able to get Justin Fields back, that the Matthew Stafford trade was not going to happen. Rodgers was the guy that Tomlin was willing to say, I'll go through the whole spring without this guy here. And he ultimately got his guy. But at the same time, every year, Rich, we have a story of some team reaching out on Mike Tomlin. Could you end up trading for him? Every year, there's some level of rumblings about could Mike Tomlin, decide to do something else? Could he go into broadcast? There's a lot of different things that he could choose to do. I'm not saying he's sitting there right now thinking about, I'm going to walk away after the season. I would just say anytime that you get into these types of situations, and every year we're talking about what somebody's future is going to be, that should give you a pretty clear indication that you're on a year-to-year type of a basis. You look at what they've done, really over the past several years here. Ben Roethlisberger, they rode him until the wheels came off. They tried with Kenny Pickett. There were a lot of factors in why Kenny Pickett did not work out in Pittsburgh. There were the injuries, there were the concussions, there was an offense that just wasn't particularly functional as a whole. But since then, it was let's plug in Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. Let's try to win right now. It didn't end up working out, though they got to the playoffs. Now it's let's plug in Aaron Rodgers and try to win right now. The Steelers are never a team that is looking to blow things up and let's go 3-14 for a couple of years and start over here. But they certainly have a very veteran roster that is built to win right now. You're paying the Cam Haywards year after year. You're probably going to pay TJ Watt again. You've got a 41-year-old quarterback now in Aaron Rodgers. You are thinking the window right now, even in a really competitive AFC North, to win is here.
Sure.
The results influence everything here. Mike Tomlin's own wishes influence things. I don't foresee, and nothing about the history of the Rooney family would indicate that they would fire Mike Tomlin. I talked with Art Rooney about this last summer. What he said was, my standard is as long as the locker room is still listening to the coach and we believe in the coach, there's no reason to make a change. And that's what Art Rooney picked up from his father, from his grandfather. That's how the Steelers have always run the organization. But again, when the calls keep coming on Mike Tomlin and when you're coming up on 20 years as a head coach, it's only natural that at some time everything is going to come to an end. Mike Tomlin will be the one in all likelihood to choose when that comes. We'll see how this season goes, and I'm sure we'll be talking about the future again in December.
No, and I hear you, Tom, but year to year, like that's one thing. When the other option is 3-year deal plus one, and if we want to part ways, we'll figure out some sort of monetary arrangement, but last one, I mean, do we know? Is it just a tack a year on? That's it? Is that the actual mechanism that's happening, or is he on a this is the last year of his deal?
No, he's been on a series of multi-year contracts.
Okay.
He's not in a contract year right now. Generally, I believe they've done like 3-year contract extensions with him. But again, I don't anticipate Art Rooney ever trading Mike Tomlin. I don't think that Art Rooney fires Mike Tomlin. Does Mike Tomlin at some point say, I need to do something different? If he were to initiate the conversation, I think that it's something that all parties would listen to. But again, they feel like they've got a really good coach. They haven't won a playoff game in 8 years. There's no question that there is some level of pressure, particularly locally, to try to take another step here. But there's a belief in Mike Tomlin that goes far beyond just, any number of, the record or playoff appearances or anything else. This guy's still a really good football coach. And if you were to move on from him, do you know that you're getting an upgrade? They believe that they've got one of the top coaches in the NFL. But again, if at some point Mike Tomlin just decided, you know what, at this stage of my life and career, I want to go and see someplace else. That's what I mean by year to year here, which is topic every single year as we get later on into the season of could somebody trade for Mike Tomlin? Could he decide to go someplace else? That part just isn't going away, and that's the nature of the NFL.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.